Another video, a lot of videos today. All right, again, back to the subject of no free will. Okay, Nick made two videos after mine basically saying, we agree, okay? I mean, we agree on the absence of free will. We sort of drew the conclusion, like I said, through different means. I'm looking at it more one way than the other. Well, anyway, look, both ways prove the point. The point is, you won't find anything inside this head that wasn't put there, okay, by this environment, by nature, and by my exposure, my conditioning. It just isn't there, okay? I have to read the book to know what's in the book. I have to experience the experience to acquire the reconditioning or whatever the impact it's going to have on me. We can see that in the real world. I'm saying in the physical universe, I'm going to defend my point. Quantum theory it just doesn't mean anything in the practical universe. It is a concession to the fact that we cannot build a device to see these very small bits of the material universe, because our device, our tweezers, are going to destroy the thing we are attempting to pick apart. We just don't have the eyes. We're talking about a thought experiment when we say that yes, you could predict it from the moment of the Big Bang. We are presuming the existence of the tools to do that with. The randomness that exists, that is being predicted through quantum theory or seen through quantum theory, is just a concession to the absence of a real observation. And so what we do see is scattered and uncertain as to what the causation is, because we cannot see it. But we're talking about minute randomness. Even if I conceded its existence, it would be irrelevant to the subject of human free will, because it would have no consequential impact on our cognitive processes, the software. Like, just as the randomness has nothing to do with the function of my computer. There's no evidence, there is no indication, there is no representation of this fucking randomness existing in the structure of my fucking computer that's creating this video. Because this computer wouldn't be worth anything if the randomness existed, because the computer would not fucking function. The computer is dependent on the electrons doing what they are supposed to do, on the matter staying stable, on the whole infrastructure being stable. Okay, instability means it will not work. And it is the same truth for our brain. The structures of the brain are not playing with this quantum theory randomness to create something called free will. That is bullshit, okay? So even if your stupid randomness exists, we're talking about the randomness of whether an electron shoots left, right, or center, or not an electron, an energy particle, whatever we want to call it. And who the fuck cares? Because if the end result is we know the probability is fixed, that it will go left, it will go right, and it will go center a fixed number of times over a course of time, then it is not random by the definition of random. It's a stupid conversation to be having. So I don't care about quantum theory. I just don't give a fuck. You want to argue that, then go find somebody who wants to waste their time, okay? You talk about a waste of time? That would be a waste of my fucking time to spend a year to figure out where these assholes have drawn the wrong conclusion, all right? And I'm not going to waste my time on that kind of bullshit. I know enough about this science, and I know enough about that science to know the two are not fucking connected, alright? And then if we did have the goddamn tools, we would find out there is no fucking randomness. There's a cause and effect behind the quantum theory randomness, alright? I predict, because there's no point in having a universe that is 999999.9999% unrandom, and then having randomness at the source. That wouldn't make any sense, because it would be irrelevant randomness. Anyway, I mean, the only place randomness has any purpose is when it's controlled randomness in the extended complexity, not in the rudimentary complexity. In the roots, the randomness is no point. We need the randomness in the apple. That's where the randomness has to be. There's no point in having it in the roots. So anyway, I'm not gonna. We're going to argue this forever. I guess there's no point in it. There's some people who just aren't going to accept it, as Nick says. They're just never going to accept the concept that, you know, 5 minutes ago you could have predicted I would say these words, and that you could predict it 10 minutes ago, and then you could go back 15 minutes ago and still do the same damn thing. Okay, the events were the machine was in motion. Okay, the ducks were in a row to make the certain thing happen. Okay, the right tumblers had been tumbled in the logical machine that is our brain, in my brain. And it is me brain, and it's me brain that's producing this stuff. It's not my brain. I'm not sitting, just as Nick says, there's not some third person inside my head making decisions. My brain makes the decisions based on what it has been exposed to. It reads books, it reads magazines, it reads stuff, it looks at stuff, it hears videos, it thinks, it logically grinds information and comes up with new insights all on its own. But it's a machine. It's a piece of fucking software that's running. Oh, I'm very tense today. But it's positive energy in a way. Okay, so we got that out of the way. There was some other point I wanted to make. All right, the bottom line point is that we are programmed machines. We are. Every animal is programmed. We are programmed. Platypuses are platypuses. They don't act like ducks. They don't act like something else. They act like what they are, a platypus. Whatever the animal is, it has a psychology. We have a psychology, and then we have what's called knowledge and information that we can glean to refine that psychology, all right, to make more of the software, to reprogram the software. There's no magic, there's no God, there's no anything in that process. It is a thinking machine, okay? And so it is dependent on the programming. It is depending on the thing called input. If there is no input, it is the input that defines what it can become. And there isn't any, there's no room for any kind of freely operating thing happening here. If you do not read the book, you will not know what's in the book. It is that simple. You have to consume it. You have to input it. You have to make it part of you. And there's no aberration. Just like a computer does not misfunction, our brain functions quite reliably. Thoughts don't come out of nowhere. Ghosts don't talk to us. Dead people don't talk to us. There is only this conversation that's built into ourselves. The only randomness, just like the computer, is an artificially created one. Okay, made out of whatever it needs to create whatever randomness needs to be created. But like I said, I don't even think that the machine needs randomness to function. The point is that it just doesn't exist in the universe anywhere anyway. So that's, but I'm not going to argue the two things. So the point is, I think the argument against free will, it can be defeated on both those prongs. That we are a fixed system. We are not dependent on any randomness that might exist on the subatomic level. Does not influence a computer's function. It will not influence our function. Because we are a thinking machine. We aren't exactly like that silicone machine, but it's the same idea. Okay, it's software, garbage in, garbage out. Okay, and the garbage doesn't come from ambiguous magical sources. Okay, the garbage comes from our exposure and the society that's imposing itself on us. And so my only argument to Nick is that yes, all these negative influences are berating us. There are pounding on us, but also we have great books. We have great little, look, we have the Bible with its great little sentence, do unto others as others would do unto you. Or we have some other great book with with Shakespeare. We have some other great book to protect our intellect, our mind, from the corruption of these evils. So it is not all garbage. Society is not all garbage. There's a knowledge base out there, from Aristotle to, you. The videos I'm watching on YouTube. Okay, yeah, there's a whole collection of input out there, and it doesn't have to be all negative. It can be instructive. It can be enlightening. It can make us more. It can make us strong and make us capable of not being influenced by the evil or the bad or the negative or the part that is trying to manipulate us. We can be free of that manipulation. Our programming can be strong. Okay, but there is no free will. No free will.